This development will change Baltimore forever. Most locals think Baltimore's waterfront is stuck in the past. However, that's all about to change for the good. I'm talking about a $900 million project that's about to create 5 buildings and a 2,000-seat amphitheater, a floating wetlands, all right in the heart of Baltimore's Inner Harbor. But this is just one piece of the $3 billion initiative. Yeah, Baltimore's Inner Harbor is about to go through the biggest change in its entire history. I'm Nick Waldner with the Waldner Winners team of Keller Williams, and today I want to walk you through everything you need to know about the Harbor Place project. We're going to cover the vision, what's actually getting built, and how it's going to affect the economy and real estate, and when all of this is going to be happening. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the scope and vision of the project. Let me first say, this is not just another regular building project. After I tell you about the very ambitious vision for this, you're definitely going to agree with me. The Harbor Place project spans 20 acres right in the heart of Baltimore's downtown waterfront. And get this, more than 18 of those acres are going to be public space. That is a huge jump from what's there today. And I'll tell you all about that in this video. The project got big voter support back in November of 2024 through something called Question F. It passed with a 60% of the votes, so like 127,000 people said, yes, let's do this. 84,000 said no. According to the Maryland Supreme Court ruling in October of 2024, this cleared the way for the work to move forward. Now, before I get into the specifics, let me tell you about who's behind all this. Basically, MCB Real Estate is leading the transformation. They picked up Harbor Place in 2022 through a court order because the property was in trouble dating back in 2019. The old owner, Ashkenazi Acquisition Corporation or something like that, they couldn't pay back $76 million loan. They had bought the place for $98 million in 2014, but couldn't make the payment. So MCB Real Estate stepped in to save this iconic waterfront spot. And honestly, when you see what they're gonna do, you're gonna be so glad they did. The design team they put together is world-class. We're talking about firms like Gensler, one of the best architectural firms in the world, leading the entire master plan design. STV is handling site design, engineering, and landscape work. They've also got Hoer and Schott from Chicago, Flora Teeter from Baltimore, all working on landscape design. This is literally an all-star lineup. But here's what sets this project apart from all the other developments going on. MCB Real Estate spent a lot of time discussing with the community before finishing their plans. We're talking about meetings with people from more than 80 different neighborhoods across Baltimore. They held big meetings, small dinner sessions with the developer, and even had an online platform for input so people could decide what they wanted in this project. All this will show up later when we see some of the awesome amenities coming our way. But from all that community input, 7 key ideas came out to guide the work. Number 1 is building for economic sustainability. They really want to create a lively downtown with places to live, eat, play, build, dream, and connect. Number 2 is to embrace the connectivity with the water. They're celebrating the harbor as one of Baltimore's best features. Number 3 is they want to make it accessible for everyone. Walkers, bikers, riders, and people who need to get around. Number 4, they want to keep it local. They're focusing on real Baltimore stuff by bringing together local business owners, restaurant owners, makers, designers, artists. Number 5, designing for resilience, thinking about the environment and protecting the Chesapeake Bay. They're doing flood control, softer shorelines, system to manage stormwater. Number 6, they've got to make it safe and welcoming, creating a space for all Baltimore families and visitors of all ages, backgrounds, and cultures. Number 7, they need to start with fairness at the core, making sure this investment helps the entire city and all the people who live here. P. David Bramble is the co-founder and managing partner at MCB Real Estate, and he said it perfectly. He stated that Baltimore's Inner Harbor is the beating heart of the city. Their goal is to bring together world-class design and planning with this super special location. Speaking of planning, let's get into what exactly is getting built here. Before I do that, you have to hit that subscribe button for me. I'm here every week breaking down projects, real estate trends, giving you insider knowledge on the Maryland real estate market. Don't miss any of my videos and don't hesitate to reach out if I can be a resource for you in this real estate market. Find my contact information below in the description box. Now, let's get into this project. This is where it all gets exciting. We'll get even more amazing spots to relax, shop, dine, all of that. Let me show you. So the project includes 5 buildings, and let's check them all out. First, we've got 2 apartment towers. Tower 1 is going to be 32 stories. Whoop! Tower 2 is going to be 25 stories. Together, they're going to have 900 new apartments. Then there's this building called The Sale. This one literally won an international design contest. The design was inspired by water, and it's going to have a marketplace on the first 2 floors with restaurants, event spaces, and businesses all on the upper levels. There's also 203 East Pratt Street. It's another cool building that sits between The Sale and the World Trade Center. This is going to be a waterfront commercial space with public space underneath the cantilevered second floor. And then you've got 303 Light Street, which has apartments on the upper floors and 2 floors of shopping, dining, and community space on the ground level. Before I talk about the exciting dining options, let me tell you about the public spaces, because this is what's going to transform how people enjoy the waterfront. First, there's a park at Freedom's Port. This replaces what's there now called McClellan Plaza. This park is going to have a 2,000-seat amphitheater. You'll have raised spaces for dining and hanging out. There's also going to be an art and cultural retail lining the eastward extension of Camden Street toward the water. They're calling this the front porch of Baltimore City. Then there's also the Crescent. This is a 2-level promenade connecting the park at Freedom's Port and the rest of Harbor Place. They're also adding a 50,000 square foot publicly accessible rooftop park on one of the Pratt Street buildings. Can you imagine the views from that thing? On top of all that, there'll be floating wetlands between National Aquarium and Pier 1, constructed wetland prototypes that support marine life and improve the water quality. Now let's talk about the shops and the restaurants. You can literally start planning your hangouts around here. We can expect over 300,000 square feet of business space. That's going to include retail shops, small stores, restaurants, and dining places, a marketplace idea in the Sale building, cultural, and chances for local businesses. And here's something cool. MCD Real Estate has already started bringing in local businesses through their Boost program. When they acquired the property, only 29% of the spaces were leased. As of March of 2024, occupancy rose to 60%. Businesses that are now there include Crust by Mac, Chef Kenny's Restaurant, known for award-winning crab cake. You could also find Pandora's Box, a gift shop that expanded from Federal Hill, a pop-up art showcase featuring over 60 local Black artists. What about getting around? They're not adding any new parking garages on site, but there are already plenty of public parking spaces within one block. The plan emphasizes walking and transit. You've already got the Charm City Circulator free shuttle covering the Inner Harbor, Fells Point, and Federal Hill. Plus, it's an easy walk to Harbor East, Little Italy, Fells Point, Canton, Federal Hill. The whole design makes it better for pedestrians and cyclists. The existing Inner Harbor already has major attractions that people really love. The National Aquarium, the Maryland Science Center, the top of the world observation level with panoramic city views, plus historic ships like the USS Constellation and the Pride of Baltimore too. There's also a 7.5-mile waterfront promenade from Canton to Locust Point with paddleboard rentals, boat tours, all along the route. And the area has lots of fantastic dining choices. This was fun. But now you should be aware of some of the really important numbers. So let's talk about the economic impact and then the timeline. How this project affects money in the city is huge. I'll be dropping a lot of digits on you, but don't worry, these are all positive ones. And after these, you'll finally get the full picture. But before we do, if you like knowing what's happening in the area, you'll want to check out my weekly newsletter. You can sign up with a link in the description below. Every week, I send out updates on what's coming in the area, anything that's new that's opening, pretty much any updates that have to do with our daily life living here in Maryland. So go ahead and sign up using the link in the description. Now, back to Harbor Place. The Harbor Place project represents a $900 million total investment, $400 million in public funds for roads, public space improvements, and $500 million from private capital for construction funded by MCB Real Estate. However, some additional federal grants are expected for waterfront road upgrades based on prior programs. In 2025, economic impact analysis by Jacob France Institute at the University of Baltimore estimates that combined with Downtown Rise initiative, the Harbor Place redevelopment will generate more than $2.1 billion in economic activity in Baltimore, supporting 11,000 jobs and $96.3 million in state and local tax revenue generated during development. And once operational, the annual economic impact is expected to be $500 million in Baltimore, supporting 2,500 jobs with over $200 million in worker earnings and $15.7 million in city tax revenue every year. But Harbor Place is actually part of a broader waterfront transformation. This is even bigger. If you can believe it, it's a $3 billion initiative that spans 231.5 acres, including 4 major projects. There's Harbor Point, a $1 billion redevelopment of 27 acres. Baltimore Peninsula is $1.1 billion development on 177 acres. Rash Field is a $34.8 million investment by the Waterfront Partnership of Baltimore, creating 7.5 acre park. And then you've got the $900 million Harbor Place project that we just talked about in this video. So literally life-changing for Baltimore over the next couple of years. Before I break down the timeline on this, something else that's cool about all this and the waterfront transformation is already showing positive effects around our region. Baltimore saw population growth for the first time since 2014, gaining over 750 residents in 2024. The Baltimore metro area added 11,000 people in 2024. And multifamily sales in Baltimore City jetted past 460 million in 2024, making it the 3rd highest transaction volume of the past decade. There are also over 2,500 housing units under construction as of early 2025. The real estate market is showing strong momentum too. Baltimore City's median listing home price is around $245,000, up from last year. But the average home value is about $185,000, up 1% over the past year. That's well below the national average. We have some work to do there. In the Inner Harbor specifically, you can find the median listing home price for condos around $489,000. So the higher pricing is really tied to the waterfront location and the urban amenities. So for the first time in a decade, the population is growing, along with investments in art and culture downtown. Now, let's talk about when all of this is happening. Here's a quick history. Back in 2014, Ashkenazi Acquisition Corporation picked up Harbor Place for $98 million. By 2019, they couldn't pay back the $76 million loan. In 2022, MCB got Harbor Place through a court order. In early 2023, MCB began that big community talk that I mentioned earlier. In July of that year, they announced the design team had closed on the property. Over 23 and 24, they've got all the recommendations, policy changes, and bill signatures done. April of 2025, Gensler was announced as the lead architect, which was huge, and STV was announced as the site design lead. In May of 2025, the Maryland League of Conservation voters backed the project. September of 2025, MCB gave a project update confirming the timeline and talking about some risks that they're facing. I'll speak about those in a second. So where are we right now? Basically, pre-building activities are happening. Each building is going through its own city approval process. Street changes plans have been finished. Permit work is ongoing. Each needs to be a separate approval process, but they're in process. But according to an update, the project faces ongoing risks. These include public money coordination, permit processing complexity and timeline, building costs going up during approval delays, and those multiple approval processes for each part of this. So after all this, here's the basic building timeline. Construction starts in fall of 2026. From 2026 onward, phased building will unfold over the next 7 years, with apartments delivered in phases, public spaces built step by step, staged road improvements, and the walkway rebuild from the National Aquarium to Rashfield Bar. So the completion is expected over the next 7 years. Now let me touch on the sustainability here so you can understand the level of safety they're going for. Side note, this is also a major factor playing into the timeline. The lower walkway is designed to float for climate resilience, with raised structures for flood protection and roads engineered for higher water levels. ASN stormwater management includes softer shorelines and new treatment system, while green infrastructure permeates the site. Like we saw, the floating wetlands between the National Aquarium and Pier 1 also protect the bay's ecosystem and improve the habitat via natural shoreline. The long-term planning part is really impressive. The whole project thinks about the next 100 years of use. So it's designed to be a worldwide model for sustainability, which is tough for waterfront development. Overall, this project will quite literally change what we experience in Baltimore. I hope you're as excited as me, because this actually isn't the only incredible development going on. Keep watching different videos. I will hit them all. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the greater Baltimore area, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can find all of my information in the description, or simply reach out, send me an email at hello@waldnerwintersteam.com. Before you go, you can actually dive in even deeper to what's happening in the Inner Harbor development and what that means for Baltimore. Just check out my main video on this transformation and get ready, because it's going to blow your mind. You'll see it linked on the screen right now. Thanks for being here, and I will see you soon.